Wrestling, sports talk show covering football and professional wrestling. I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cool Hand Luke 96. WWE hit the Midwest for both Raw and SmackDown this past week. Chicago for Raw and Indianapolis for SmackDown. And the Beast incarnate himself, Brock Lesnar, kicked off Raw. As Lesnar was walking down the ramp, getting in the ring, his opponent at WrestleMania 35, Seth frickin' Rollins, they advertise he will have a match later on in the evening versus Drew McIntyre. Paul Heyman starts to talk. Ladies and gentlemen, Heyman and Lesnar at this point are getting booed out of the building by the Chicago crowd. We had a lot of CM Punk chants throughout the night as well, as we normally do. Burn it down chants as well throughout this. But Lesnar, he just raises the Universal title to shut everybody up. Some more burn it down chants at that point, more boos. And then Heyman does his normal spiel on Brock Lesnar. You know, I am the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion of the world, Brock Lesnar. Heyman's promo, as it went on, to me, to some people it probably made sense, and it did in some ways, but to me it really didn't make a whole lot of sense because he basically just repeated himself from the past couple weeks. And I get it, you know, they're just trying to build the match at WrestleMania 35, but he basically repeated himself from the past couple weeks by saying, did AJ Styles beat Brock Lesnar? No. Did Daniel Bryan beat Brock Lesnar? No. Did Finn Balor beat Brock Lesnar? No. And then Heyman asked Rollins, who was backstage, he ended up coming out a moment later, what the hell are you thinking? A match with Drew McIntyre later on in the night when we're 20 days away from WrestleMania, when you're going to lose to the Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar? And then that's when Drew McIntyre comes out. Well. And this is basically setting up potentially for after Mania if Lesnar retains or if Seth dethrones the Beast. This puts McIntyre in the Universal title picture somewhat after WrestleMania, I believe, leading into the summer towards SummerSlam. Because clearly he's one of the top heels on Raw at the moment. And, he had a stint in the WWE before. They let him go back in 2014, went to TNA, became their champion. They brought him back, NXT champion for a while before he got injured, before they brought him up last year after Mania, teamed him with Dolph Ziggler, who hasn't been seen in quite some time. Royal Rumble, I believe, was the last time we saw him. Who knows if he's still with the company or will be coming back anytime soon. That's a story for another day, to be honest with you on that. But McIntyre, the destruction he's been doing the past couple weeks on Raw, it's leading into a match with Reigns at WrestleMania, it looks like. And then after WrestleMania, it looks like, in my opinion, he's going to be put in the Universal title picture with potentially Lesnar, Rollins, Reigns. Maybe they put Balor in there, Lashley, Corbin even. There's a lot of guys on Raw that they could put in the Universal title picture after Mania. And they normally have like a fatal 4-way, 5-way, or 6-way at the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania. And this year, actually, they're going to be taking some time off. The actual first pay-per-view after Mania will be the Saudi Arabia show. Normally there's a pay-per-view in between those, but that's just too much, it seems like, every now and then. So they're going to have the Saudi Arabia show, and then they moved Money in the Bank up to the middle of May, if you guys did not know that. And then Backlash will be in June. So Backlash, it would normally have been there for the Fatal 4-Way, 5-Way, or 6-Way with whoever the hell they're going to put in it. But then you got the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, so they might nix all that all together. Who knows? We'll have to find out and see as time goes on. But McIntyre interrupts Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Comes out, well. It's refreshing to finally get the respect I've earned in WWE. And yes, it is. He is a damn good wrestler, damn good in-ring performer and on the mic. Great promos week in and week out. Like I said, he's one of the top heels on Monday Night Raw at this moment, in my opinion. And then he says to the Chicago crowd, close your mouth and open your ears, getting a lot of heel heat on that. He said, Drew McIntyre, I brutalized Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose last week. You guys do not know, it was actually supposed to be a match in the main event last week, Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin. But then Reigns ended up getting attacked by McIntyre right before that match. And then Ambrose got in a Falls Count Anywhere match with Drew McIntyre, and they wrestled throughout the entire arena. I was actually there. I have videos from the event, so go check it out right here on the channel. Like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. But then McIntyre ended up winning after a Claymore kick on Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose actually was not on Raw this past week, but did end up saving Seth Rollins in the dark match I did see. So McIntyre tells both Heyman and Lesnar then, you need to find a new opponent for the Universal title at WrestleMania, because after tonight, Seth Rollins will not make WrestleMania. And at that point, like I said, Seth ended up coming out. This is when he does. He attacks Drew from behind with a steel chair, and then Seth continues to attack him after all the officials come out. And then Rollins has a stare down with the Beast himself, Brock Lesnar, before he gets in the ring. But when he does get in the ring, Lesnar backs off. Lesnar gives Heyman the title. Everybody's thinking, including myself at that point in time, Lesnar's going to get in the ring. They're going to have a little bit of a fight. They're going to brawl a little bit leading into their match at WrestleMania 35, about 3 weeks away now. So Rollins is in the ring. He's egging on Brock to get back in the ring and attack him. Like I said, that's what I thought was going to happen. It did not. Brock gets the title back from Heyman, lifts the title up in the air before walking away to Seth Rollins' music to end the opening segment of Monday Night Raw this past week in Chicago, Illinois. They advertised a Raw Women's Championship match for later on, with Ronda Rousey defending versus Dana Brooke, and then also Batista's side of the story. Then a video recap from last week with Bobby Lashley winning the Intercontinental Championship over Finn Balor, and then they cut to Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush backstage in the locker room before Finn Balor comes out. He actually has a tag team match versus Bobby and Lio up next, but we, at that point in time, did not know who Finn's partner was going to be. So it's going to be a tag team match, but it was, at that point in time, only a handicap match, Lashley and Rush versus Balor. Commercial break. Balor, once they come back from commercial break, Balor says happy belated St. Patrick's Day, because St. Patty's Day was this past Sunday, the 17th of March, like it normally is every single year. Him being Irish, Monday Night Raw being the next night, went perfect. He said the luck of the Irish, though, last week was not on his side when he lost to the almighty Bobby Lashley. That's when Lashley and Lio Rush come out. Lio Rush says, hey Bobby, looks like the little leprechaun, referring to Balor, is upset because you got his pot of gold around your waist, referring to Lashley's new, once again, Intercontinental Championship belt. Bobby Lashley's new pose then, once they get in the ring, is holding the Intercontinental title up in the air. So then Finn, he doesn't take any longer, doesn't waste any more time. He introduces his partner. It's the monster among men, Braun Strowman. Strowman comes out. We have a tag team match with Finn Balor, Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush. Decent match for the first match overall this past week. The tag team matches lately, in my opinion, I've said it a lot of times the past month or so, I'd say, the tag team matches lately have been pretty good, I've thought. But Strowman, he ended up picking the win for his team. So Finn Balor and Braun Strowman won. Picked up the win with a running power slam on Lio Rush after some ringside dominance by Finn and Braun. And Lashley ended up actually walking away, getting out of the match, and leaving Lio Rush to fend for himself before he ended up losing to both Finn Balor and Braun Strowman with that running power slam by Braun. So then they advertised Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, along with Ronda versus Dana Brooke once again. And then Ronda was actually fined an undisclosed amount by WWE last week for attacking a ref on Monday Night Raw in Pittsburgh. So extra security has been hired for the officials to make sure something like that with Ronda doesn't happen again. Alexa Bliss with a moment of bliss with special guest Elias is up next. Go to commercial. During the first commercial of that commercial break, they promote SmackDown Live for the next night, which was last night. I'm recording this today, the first day of spring. Happy spring, everybody. Wednesday, March the 20th, 2019. We'll probably have some more snow in the area, though, I bet, coming up in the next couple weeks like we normally do. But they promote SmackDown Live, which was last night, like I said. Miz, who kicked off SmackDown, will address Shane McMahon. Damn good promo. I'll get to that here in a little bit. And then Kofi Kingston also in another gauntlet match versus Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, and Rowan. And if he wins, he's going to go to WrestleMania. WrestleMania promo then at the start of A Moment of Bliss, WrestleMania 35, Sunday, April the 7th. East Rutherford, New Jersey, MetLife Stadium, only on the WWE Network, and I will be live right here on YouTube doing live reactions, play-by-play of that pay-per-view, so I hope to see everybody then. Be sure, if you haven't done so already, to like, follow, and subscribe to Gridiron Ring and myself, Cool Hand Luke96, on social media. The links are in the description below. So, WrestleMania promo, the matches that they advertise are Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins for the Universal title, Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair in a triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship, Randy Orton versus AJ Styles, The Miz versus Shane McMahon, Triple H versus Batista in a no-holds-barred match, and then, ladies and gentlemen, Elias walks out, and as I said, he is Alexa's special guest on A Moment of Bliss this week. Hello, I'm Alexa. That's what she says in response to, hello, I'm Elias. Alexa then says this is a safe place. We've both been victims as of late to rude interruptions. And then Elias announces, as Alexa did last week, that she's the host of WrestleMania 35. Elias announces he will be the headlining musical act at WrestleMania this year. And last year is the motivation for this year, because last year he interrupted John Cena before he got interrupted by The Undertaker. So he threw a shot towards the Chicago crowd, towards the Bears and Cody Parkey in particular, about missing a game-winning field goal in the NFL playoffs this year. And then also saying that Prince in the Super Bowl, Queen at Live Aid, and then Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison are all below him on the list of performances that he has done throughout his entire career. And his performance, his musical act, his headlining musical act at WrestleMania will top all those as well. But then No Way Jose interrupts. But then Otis and Tucker, who I absolutely hate, I don't get why they're pushing them into the future. I just don't. They can wrestle, okay? It's just their damn gimmick. I just can't stand it. Otis and Tucker, they're leading the damn pack of the conga line. And actually, as they're coming around, I could tell No Way Jose was in the back, and he actually was. He was actually at the end of the line, and then he attacked Elias, which led to a match on Monday Night Raw. Elias versus No Way Jose. Jose took all of his clothes off at that point. He was still, decent, he wasn't completely nude, so don't take that the wrong way. He was actually wearing a Chicago Cub shirt as well, so that got the crowd behind him. But Elias ended up winning, and like I said, he will be the headlining musical act at WrestleMania this year. They advertise, once again, Batista's side of the story, Ronda Rousey versus Dana Brooke, and then Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle, he will announce his opponent at WrestleMania up next. Commercial break, and then Angle comes out, you suck chants like usual. He says the Kurt Angle farewell tour continues, and WrestleMania 35 is where I'll compete for the last time. He would like to thank the WWE Universe and then the McMahon family for letting him pick his opponent for his farewell match. And he says there's so many superstars I would love to face, but only one that I want to beat, and he's a man who's made my life a living hell since I was general manager of Monday Night Raw, and that is Baron Corbin. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. And then Chad Gable comes out to face Kurt Angle. Angle ended up winning. He'll win the whole way to WrestleMania, no doubt about that. Angle made Chad Gable tap out to the Angle lock, and then Baron Corbin came out and talked some smack towards Kurt Angle, leading towards their match at WrestleMania 35. Now, there has been a lot of backlash I've seen towards this from the fans. They don't want Kurt Angle to face Baron Corbin at WrestleMania 35, but it makes sense. Storyline-wise, it's what they've been doing for the past how long now, because Angle ended up basically was put on leave before he came back to wrestle. Not technically full-time, I guess part-time, because he's how old, and he can't really move around that good anymore. But Baron Corbin was put in the general manager spot then on Raw, so it just makes sense. But it looks like WWE will be moving in another direction now with Kurt Angle. Like, they're going to nix us and have him face somebody else, maybe John Cena, maybe Kevin Owens, maybe who knows. I mean, I'd be fine with it. And then if Kurt loses and puts Corbin over, I'd be fine with that too, because that's what should happen. But that will not happen. I can guarantee you that Kurt will win in his farewell match. He's a former Olympic gold medalist. He won it with a broken freaking neck, for God's sakes. So Kurt will face Corbin at WrestleMania 35 in his farewell match. But we'll have to see what WWE does moving forward within the next couple weeks towards WrestleMania, because even last night on SmackDown, Tom Phillips said on commentary that there has been a lot of backlash from the fans, but move on, you still got Kurt Angle, Baron Corbin. So we'll have to see what they do, but right now, Kurt says Corbin will be his opponent at WrestleMania 35. They advertised Ronda Rousey versus Dana Brooke once again. They advertised this damn match like a million times on Raw, and I was getting sick and tired of it, but Ronda ended up later on in the night defeating Dana, and I'll get to that here in a second. And I guess she actually did injure her pretty bad. Whether that was storyline-wise or not, I don't know, but it did look like she screwed up her arm a decent amount. So, yeah, Ronda versus Dana is advertised once again, like I said, and then a video recap from last week with Drew McIntyre attacking Roman Reigns, and then his match versus Dean Ambrose, like I said earlier. And then once again, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre is advertised. And then the Boston Hug connection of Sasha Banks and Bayley, they come back from commercial. Then Corbin is talking with the Revival backstage before Apollo Crews walks up and asks for a match versus Corbin. So Apollo Crews versus Baron Corbin later on in the night. Bayley and Sasha then cut a promo before getting interrupted by Natalya and Beth Phoenix out in the ring. Beth will now come out of retirement, she announces, to team with Natalya to be a part of WrestleMania. So Sasha versus Natalya then in a singles match, but Nia Jax interrupts during the match, and then Tamina came from out of the crowd and attacked Beth Phoenix from behind. So then Seth versus Drew later on, Mojo Rawley mirror backstage promo, and then Ricochet. Aleister Black was not on Raw or SmackDown this week. Ricochet wasn't on SmackDown either, but Aleister and his wife, what's her name? She's Andrade's, Zelina Vega. She's Andrade's, whatever the hell you want to call her, manager, I guess. They're married. They're an actual couple. Aleister and her are, Zelina Vega, and they're actually on vacation right now. So Ricochet actually just had a singles match on Raw versus Jinder Mahal, and he won with a 630 splash. And then they advertised the Hall of Fame, which is the night before WrestleMania 35 this year. And then Ronda Rousey comes out. Her match versus Dana Brooke is up next. Thank the Lord. But first, a Seth Rollins backstage interview, and he was actually he's a diehard Iowa Hawkeye fan and a Chicago Bear fan, being from the state of Iowa, being out in the Midwest there. He is backstage in gorilla position, wearing a he had a gorilla position interview later on in the night before his match. This was actually backstage. He's actually wearing a cut-off Seth Rollins, it looked like a Chicago Bear themed shirt because it was bear colors, so pretty cool. Dana then gets interviewed in gorilla before her match, and then she has her match versus Ronda. Ronda shoves another ref, and then her husband, Travis Brown, who walked her to the arena before Raw, during Raw, I should say, was also there. Travis Brown, MMA fighter, damn good fighter. He's ringside for this match, and he actually, after this got banned from all future WWE events I saw. But Ronda, she shoved another ref, and then she goes and kisses her husband, Travis Brown, before he punches a jobber security guard before they ended up walking out. So like I said, Ronda, it looked like she did hurt Dana Brooke a little bit, but storyline wise, could be just fake. I don't know. It did look pretty serious, but WWE always likes to throw curveballs our way every now and then, like I like to say. So last week then as well on Raw, they announced, I should say, last week as well on Monday Night Raw was the most social show on all of TV, beating out The Bachelor, college and NBA basketball, March Madness in full swing now. Hopefully everybody has their brackets filled out. And then The Voice as well. Well, damn right it was, because everyone was tuned in looking for your boy himself, Cole Hand Luke 96, because I was at Monday Night Raw last week. So go check out those videos right here on the channel. So thank you guys for the support. Once again, like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. Kurt Angle then versus Baron Corbin. They announce is Angle's farewell match at WrestleMania, and then Corbin versus Apollo Crews is up next. Apollo ended up winning. He rolled up Baron Corbin to win, and then Angle came out at the top of the entrance and congratulated Crews. And then Batista, his side of the story via satellite from Tampa is next. However, that was actually filmed in Pittsburgh last week because Batista actually just started filming a movie over in Europe on Monday. So Michael Cole, he was mic'd up, it seemed like, obviously talking to Batista, and then talking to the crowd as well so they could hear everything that he was asking them. Michael Cole asked Batista why he's so angry with Triple H. He simply said, I just don't like him. And then Cole, retaliates. Does this go back to Evolution? No, way further than that. And then in 2010, you quit? Do you blame Triple H for this? Yeah, why shouldn't I? But look what I've accomplished since I've left. Become a big Hollywood star. Now I'm demanding the match I deserve and I'm getting. Now, it did seem like the Chicago crowd was getting bored during this, and it would have been because it was a damn satellite interview. We had a lot of CM Punk chants throughout that entire interview, and then he calls Triple H, Batista does, a selfish, jealous control freak, and at WrestleMania I will end Triple H. Braun Strowman then gets interviewed and says he will be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal before he gets interrupted by Alexa Bliss. And then the main event is up next, Drew McIntyre versus Seth frickin' Rollins. Drew, in my opinion, cut a damn good promo, and then he ended up challenging Roman to a fight at WrestleMania. Seth comes out, which leads to their match, and then it was a decent match, it was a good match I thought, but then Lesnar came out, distracted Rollins just as he was about ready to hit the stomp on McIntyre, but Drew then hit a Claymore kick to defeat Rollins to win to end Monday Night Raw this past week. SmackDown Live then, as I said, was in Indianapolis. They advertised the Kevin Owens show with special guests Becky Lynch and Charlotte, and then also the Gauntlet match with Kofi Kingston, Samoa Joe, Randy Orton, The Bar, and Rowan. And if Kofi wins, he will be heading to WrestleMania. The Miz kicked off SmackDown Live this week, which was awesome. The Miz versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania is advertised as the A-lister is walking down the ramp into the ring. And then a video recap to kick off the show. They've been doing this the past couple weeks, I've noticed, with Shane's opening promo and also his attack on The Miz at Fastlane from last week. For 10 years, this is The Miz now saying, for 10 years I've been focused on WrestleMania. I've sacrificed everything in this business. That's what this means to me. Miz chants at that point from the indie crowd. He simply responds by saying, thank you. He just wanted his dad to be proud. Shane made that happen, and then he attacked me. What kind of human being would do that and then attack my own father? Shane, you are a conniving, vile, disgusting human being and rotten to the core, just like your father, aka Vince McMahon. You weren't born the best in the world. You were born a McMahon, the worst. You think you're something special because you're a billionaire and you do what you want. You may own this company, but you don't own me, and you sure as hell don't own Kofi. Had a lot of that throughout the night. Kofi chants as well at that point. AJ had an interview backstage, and then he said good luck to Kofi as he ended that interview with Caleb Braxton. So Kofi chants. People told me that I'm average and wouldn't amount to anything. I've followed my dreams and proved everyone wrong and became the most must-see WWE superstar of all time. Say what you want, but you cannot deny my work ethic. Preach, Miz, preach. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard enough. Keep preaching. I'm a proven success story. 13 years, but I think I've earned it. Miz, and then you deserve a chance from the crowd at that point as well. And then he simply responds, you're damn right I do. And then he says to Shane, you deserve the one thing you've earned, and that's an ass whooping from me at WrestleMania. So a great promo, I thought, from The Miz, and a great way to kick off SmackDown Live, which was awesome. So Sasha Banks then and Bayley, they come out finally on SmackDown Live, even though I really don't like either of them, but oh well. The Iconics then come out, have a tag team match with Sasha Banks and Bayley, the Boston Hug Connection, and then the two Aussies, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, the Iconics. Tag team match had a iconic promo though as they're walking down the ramp, a shot towards the recent college admission scandal that's been rocking everybody the past week and a half or so. And then during the match, Lacey Evans came out. She did her spiel that she normally does, just walks down the ramp and walks back up. Tries to distract people every once in a while, get eyes on her. But the Iconics, they won a decent women's tag team match to kick off SmackDown after Peyton Royce rolled up Sasha Banks for the win. And then Rey Mysterio interviewed backstage with his son Dominic. Mysterio then announces he will face Samoa Joe at WrestleMania for the United States Championship. And then up next, the Kevin Owens Show with your host, Kevin Owens. He is rocking one of the new KO shirts. He's actually wearing a red tie as well, and then a suit jacket. The tie was actually just tied around his neck. He wasn't wearing a damn dress shirt, just wearing a regular t-shirt, a tie, and a suit jacket. Come back from commercial though. They have the same WrestleMania advertisement that they had on Monday Night Raw with Alexa Bliss hosting Mania. Colin Jost and Michael Che, they will be special correspondents. They're from Saturday Night Live. Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin. Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins for the Universal title. The Miz versus Shane McMahon. And now the new and improved Kevin Owens Show. He says, yeah, it's a new and improved Kevin Owens Show. We got new fancy graphics, and I dressed up. We know we're on the road to WrestleMania. But normally it's KO Mania. But this year there is no denying Kofi Kingston. And if Kofi can run the gauntlet later on tonight, he will end up facing Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Owens then goes on by saying if that match happens, he will be keeping a very close eye on it. So look for Kevin Owens to get involved one way or another, I think. Becky Lynch and Charlotte then come out as they are his special guests on the new and improved Kevin Owens Show. So KO says, no one knows better about friendships getting sour than me, referring to his friendship with Sami Zayn at one point before they became best friends once again. They're best friends in real life, for God's sakes. And then, more importantly, his friendship with Chris Jericho before he turned on him. So Kevin Owens then goes on by saying, am I right? Yeah, I'm right. And then he says everything basically that has happened so far in the feud with Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte before Becky and Charlotte start fighting. They brawl for a little bit. To me, all these WWE talk shows, they always end up the same way. A fight at the end, a brawl, someone getting put through a table. To me, it felt like an episode of Jerry Springer, like it normally does. Except this time around for the Kevin Owens Show, and every time it takes place, it has a better host, that being Kevin fucking Owens. AJ Styles interview then backstage, and then, like I said, he wished Kofi good luck at the end of that. Daniel Bryan then comes out, promo with Rowan by his side before the gauntlet match begins. Daniel Bryan goes over injustice. Kofi being in the gauntlet match is injustice because Kofi doesn't deserve the opportunity. Kofi replaced Mustafa Ali in the gauntlet match right before the Elimination Chamber, which is true, he did. And then they just gave Kofi the push, which has turned into Kofi Mania. So Daniel Bryan, keep preaching as well. Kofi in the Elimination Chamber match then as well. Kofi, you're a B+ player. That's when the New Day interrupts. Kofi will start the gauntlet match versus Sheamus of the Bar. So Daniel Bryan and Rowan at that point, once all that happened, they went backstage. Sheamus started off versus Kofi, and then Cesaro as well, and then Rowan came out by himself. Okay, Kofi at that point defeated Sheamus, Cesaro, and Rowan, and then that's when the United States champion Samoa Joe came out. Kofi defeated him as well, but then Joe left him. He actually put him to sleep with the Coquina Clutch. That's when the Viper Randy Orton came out. So throughout this gauntlet match as well, which is about an hour, it was the second half of SmackDown from 9 to 10 o'clock last night. They had commercial breaks throughout the gauntlet match, split screens and regular commercials. So Randy Orton came out. Kofi ended up defeating him as well. But, however, at that point, Vince came out once the rest of the New Day were in the ring, saying, Kofi, yeah, you won. Congrats. You're going to WrestleMania. But as long as you can beat one more opponent, good luck. That's when the new Daniel Bryan, the current Planet's champion, the current WWE champion, comes out. We have a match to extend the gauntlet match with Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston, and Daniel Bryan ended up winning. So they screw over Kofi Kingston. Daniel Bryan won with a running knee. Kofi, right now, you're not going to WrestleMania. However, they'll find a way. They're just keeping this going. They'll make sure he's in the WWE title match at WrestleMania 35, probably on the go-home show of SmackDown to end the go-home show in Baltimore in a couple weeks. 2 weeks from last night now. So, it's going to be Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania. Don't worry about that. They just got to have stuff for TV leading into WrestleMania. So, it makes the story better, believe me. So hopefully you guys enjoyed both Raw and SmackDown this week if you watched, and then if you did not, or if you did and you listened to my Raw and SmackDown recap here, thank you. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, follow, and subscribe on social media. As always, links are in the description below.